Coach Selena here. Today, I want to take a bit of a deeper dive into the power of passive decluttering. This has been a hot topic in my groups lately. And I think it's something that we overlook a lot in our decluttering journey. So, passive decluttering is when you're showing up to a space and it's not like I have to work for 15 minutes or I have to achieve this goal or this room has to be completed before it's considered successful or to really count as decluttering. So passive decluttering is, as an example, this is one that I do all the time. So when I go into my bathroom to brush my teeth at night before bed, I tidy up the corner where I keep, like, I have this small plastic case that's just got makeup and skincare stuff and all that kind of stuff. So when I go in to brush my teeth, I can be brushing my teeth and I'm brushing with my right hand and my left hand just wanders and starts dealing with a couple of things. Because if I can just tidy it up, when I start my day the next day, it looks nicer, right? And for me, when I have less cluttered spaces, I find that my shoulders drop. I breathe a little bit easier. I'm not stuck in overwhelm trying to find what I need to start my routine first thing in the morning. So, and sometimes too, passive decluttering can be like if you're walking by your dining room table and it has a tendency to be a hot spot, you can just pick up a couple of pieces of random mail and deal with it. You're not really putting yourself to a timer. You're not setting these really big goals that feel hard to achieve. You're just showing up. You're just in that space and deciding to make some decisions, right? This is all, excuse me, this is also really good. If you're passing through your kitchen, how many times do we, wander through the kitchen in a day because we're feeding ourselves, feeding our families, grabbing a drink, making a coffee, whatever. So when you're there, like if you're waiting for your coffee to brew in the morning, or in my case, for my kettle to boil to make tea, I can do passive decluttering. I can deal with dishes that weren't dealt with the night before if they're in the sink. We have multiple shift workers in our house. So there seems to always be dishes in my sink. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, I'm going to have an empty sink, before I go to bed every night, because it may be empty when I go to bed. By the time I wake up in the morning, sometimes there's dishes there. So while my tea is steeping or while the kettle is boiling, I can unload the dishwasher. I can reload it. I can give a quite quick wipe down to the kitchen counters, right? As you're passing through your bedroom, you may be putting something away in a drawer and you grab a load of dirty clothes and you throw them in the laundry room. And then when you're in the laundry room, you see something, you may have like a storage facility. And there's a couple of what we like to call zombies, which are empty containers or things that are half full and expired that we can just get rid of. There's so many ways that we can passive declutter. And actually, I don't think that's a word. Let's try passively declutter. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, that's not even a thing. There are so many ways that we can passively declutter, right? And still reach our goals. Yes, sometimes we absolutely need to be intentional with our time and with our decisions. And we may need to carve out time to deal with certain zones in certain rooms to reach certain goals. Okay. But there's not one specific way to declutter a home that works for everybody, right? So you need to figure out, what is the combination for you? Is it putting time into your calendar and dealing with some hot spots that may be driving you a bit bonkers, or trying to show up to a room that you've been putting off that may feel a little bit daunting and maybe a bit overwhelming? So you just want to spend 10 minutes in there. You may want to spend half an hour in there. You get to decide. But also too, you can mix it up, right? Are there opportunities to passively declutter? If you are sitting in a parking lot waiting for a friend, or even waiting in a drive-through line, have a small bag that you can collect garbage in. Can you just quickly declutter what's in your purse, or what's in your wallet, or what's in a bag, or what's, I don't know, shoved under the front seat of a car? So if you think about it, we have so many opportunities to declutter without jumping into the deep end so quickly that we trip into overwhelm we trip into anxiety. Okay, so passive decluttering is actually a really powerful skill set. Okay, and it also helps us create new habits. It helps us kind of look at our space through fresh eyes and go, maybe I could just quickly tackle that thing. Maybe as I'm putting leftovers in the fridge after I'm done cooking at night, I can look for a couple of science experiments. That's what I call food that, you intended to eat, you didn't eat, it's now going bad. It's a science experiment. Maybe we remove a couple of science experiments out of the fridge, right? And then we can get rid of that. And it just frees up a little bit more real estate in the fridge. So, take a look at your space, look at opportunities that you can just, passively declutter something. You don't have to go hardcore. One of the areas that I try now to be aware of to passively declutter is the coffee table next to where I sit in my living room, because it usually has my books on there, pen and paper, my tea mug, sometimes, and then random stuff. If I take my earrings off at the end of the day, I have a tendency to put them down there. But if I just quickly do a check-in, I can do a passive declutter. And when I start my day the next day, it looks tidier, right? And that just makes me, for me, it makes me feel happier. And then when I see that little square footage of my house that looks better, I want to apply that to other areas. I want other places in my house to look tidier, right? To feel like they're more manageable. So then I know that, okay, well, every room that I'm in, I may just choose to passively declutter something. So you know what? It's just a quick tip for today. Try it out, see how it goes. Remember that I have a free Facebook group. Come and find us. And I also have a membership program where you just get a ton of support, regular coaching from me. And I'd love to see you there if that speaks to you. But in the meantime, keep doing the next right thing, and use that voice of kindness, okay? Self-shaming doesn't get us anywhere. Take care.